Greetings, parents, staff, and the class of 2021. This really has been a challenging year for everyone, but mostly for you grade 12s in your final year of schooling. This year has been very challenging. It hasn't been the grade 12 experience that you and your parents had hoped for when you started in grade 7 and looked up ahead at the grade 12s of that year and the experience that they were having. But your grade 12 year will always be a memorable one. I suppose there are some events that you've needed to scale down and some events that have fallen away, and those are memories that you will miss. For some of you, the dream of representing your school at first team level in sport is something that hasn't been realized and a loss that you'll be feeling. And I think we need to acknowledge those losses and the challenges that the pandemic has brought. But I want to commend you on the hugely positive impact that you have had on the school this year. There have been several new initiatives that you've introduced, and all of the activities that you've undertaken, you've done so with energy, thinking outside the box, coming up with alternatives. It really has been a positive contribution that you've made. And so we were very delighted to see that you were able to run with a variety concert and to see the impact that had on you as a grade and the impact that had on the school. You worked so closely together as a team. Well, closely within the safety protocol limitations, of course, but you worked so closely as a team, and the spirit that developed in that grade was wonderful to witness and impacted the entire school. Mr. Oppenlander will speak a little later about some of the upcoming events, which are additional opportunities for you to create memories from this, your final year of schooling. This hasn't been an easy year academically either, but the vast majority of you have risen to the challenges of this year, and the June examination results for the majority of you show that you are embracing what needs to be done. The focus of the remainder of this year is going to be on academics. Mrs. Antrobus will speak to you shortly about the amount of time that is left in this academic year for you, the class of 2021. And this is not done to scare you, but to motivate you so that you can get the best possible set of results that you can. Grade 12s, you owe it to your parents to get the best possible set of results that you can. They have invested hugely in time, emotion, and finance in ensuring that you get the best result that you can get, and you owe it to them to do that. You owe it to the school to get the best possible results that you can. Yes, we do a lot of learning beyond examinations, loving beyond self, and living authentic lives, but in the end, the school is judged on our final matric results, and you owe it to the staff and to the future students of Elkanah House to get the best possible results that you can. Most importantly, grade 12s, you owe it to yourselves to get the best set of results that you can. You want a set of results that is going to grant you access to those courses that you want to follow next year and in future years. You want to leave at the end of your schooling with the best possible golden ticket that you can. And so the purpose of this evening is to align all the role players, the parents, the staff, and you, the grade 12s, so that we are all working together to get those results that you are hoping for. It is important that if this partnership is to be effective, and it has been effective so far, that we keep communication open. This is especially important as we begin this term online. Mrs. Antrobus is now going to speak to you about the academic program for the next few months.
Hello grade 12 parents. This is very, very strange to be doing it this way, but unfortunately that's the pandemic that we live in. Obviously I'm Minky Androbus, and as the Deputy in charge of academics, I have a few things to share with you about the way in which the matric program is going to work over the next few weeks. And now I will move on to the PowerPoints. This stage of grade 12 in 2021. We really did think last year that we would be doing this in person this time around, but unfortunately the pandemic has taught us otherwise. So what is the purpose of this evening? Firstly, to look at the remainder of the year and the best use of the time that remains, to outline the roles of the grade 12s, of the staff and the parents in the final few months, to provide some suggestions for the way forward, to look at the calendar events that lie ahead, and then, obviously, next week in the evening to meet with the subject teachers online. So what is left of the year? Grade 12s, please take note. They are just short of 6 weeks to the preliminary examinations. 28 school days. After that, 1 school day to the end of the term, 4 school days next term to valedictory. So in total, you actually only have 33 school days left. Your final examinations begin on the 18th of October. That means you need to take this time seriously. There is a need for a team approach, and we all need to guard against an us and a them mentality. Matrics, no othering. Work set during the holidays is not punishment. It is an attempt to get the matrics to get onto the right page. Grade 12s must assume responsibility for their own work. They are actually adults and do need to know that it is their future. Grade 12s, use your teachers as facilitators and use your parents for support. You will need it. In terms of the home environment, parents, please increase the pressure just a little bit. They do need to know that there are consequences for their actions, and they do need to know that they need to put their heads down. Be a support rather than a nag, although let's be honest, most matrics are going to see both as the same thing. Please also ensure that there's structure for study, a dedicated space, a dedicated time, a place that is peaceful. There should be a study area with no interruptions. And please also, matrics, and this applies to you, cell phones can be extremely distracting. So perhaps during your study time, put the cell phone away or give to mom or dad. In terms of the home environment and communication, look at what work is about to be done and how it's and when it's going to be done. Negotiated settlements. So if you study until that time, then you are allowed this time off. Paste the study timetable on the fridge so that your parents know when you intend to study and that you can be held accountable. Paste your examination timetable on the fridge as well. We have had, believe it or not, matrics who forget that they are writing exams, and at least if it's on the fridge, everyone knows when you're writing the exam. Please also discuss family commitments well in advance so that matrics can work around these times to ensure that they can go to them and not feel pressured into going when they'll have to study. A great deal of encouragement is needed in this time. The workload. Matrics, you should be working a minimum of 3 hours a day or night. You should be doing revision already, and a personal revision timetable should be complementing whatever the school is doing. You need to trust the staff. We've done this before. This is not the first matric group. You do need to listen to us. Ask each teacher for the revision or teaching program for the remainder of the year, and then very importantly, portfolio pieces need to be completed on time. These are your rescue moments. If you do not have a portfolio that is workable, it does mean you put yourself into a vulnerable position. In terms of your social life, parents, yes, matrics must have time to go out, but the philosophy must be work hard and play hard. Weekends must include both work and rest time. And what we suggest is that there should be 1 full day's study per weekend. If Sunday's the day, Saturday night curfew needs to be reasonable. Exercise is very good for stress relief. You need to do something to get rid of that energy. And importantly, and I know you're all going to laugh at this, a stability in your love life is recommended. Every year we see a breakup or a new relationship starting, and it has detrimental effects on the ability of the matric to study. Please note with the preliminary examinations that we have no desire to shock anyone into action. We are simply exposing you to what you will be exposed to at the end of the year. We're setting as close to the IEB standard as possible, moderated by other IEB teachers. Grade 12s, you need to understand what's coming up in the examination. What are the differences, for example, between a paper 1 and a paper 2 in any subject? Spring sessions will start in the first week of the September holiday, and more information about this will be provided over the next couple of weeks. I really do wish you all well, and I really do think you have the ability to get there. You just need to put your heads down. And now I'm going to hand over to Mr. Morton.
Thank you, Mrs. Antrobus. Well, that certainly contained a lot of information, and I suppose one of the advantages of watching this presentation online is that you can go back and pick up one or two of the details that you might have missed. Before Mr. Oppenlander speaks to you about some of the events that remain this year, I want to speak to you about ending well and leaving school on a high note. You should be ready to leave school by the time the end of grade 12 arrives. And if you're not ready to leave school by the end of grade 12, well, then we've failed you. But at this stage, you should be outgrowing school. And that's not always comfortable. But I want to encourage you to end on a high note. I want to encourage you to maintain the superb example that you have been for all the students in all of the other grades this year. The grade 11s are about to begin their prefect selection process, and I want you to, right to the very end, maintain the superb example that you have set this year. I also want to encourage you to maintain and to develop the relationships that you have with the staff, those relationships that you've built up over the years. It's that relationship that is part of this partnership that is going to get you the results that you need to get. But I want to encourage you in your dealings with the staff to remain respectful and to build those relationships so that in time to come, when you come visit the school at some sporting event that we may one day be able to host again, but that you can pick up where those relationships were left off in a good state. Look after those relationships. You've built them over time. Maintain them. So I want to wish you the very best as you enter this final phase of your schooling, and you can see now that it is the final phase. Trust the staff, work with us, and together you will achieve the set of results that you are hoping for. Mr. Oppenlander will now speak to you about some of the events that still lie ahead this year.
It is wonderful to be able to connect with you, albeit on a virtual platform. It has been an absolute privilege working with your children and being witness to their growth over the last 6 years. We are approaching the final stretch, and even though the final couple of months will be difficult, we trust that it is going to be a good experience for all of your children. We have a couple of calendar events planned for the remainder of the year, and these may not take the form they have in the past, for obvious reasons. 40 days, we would still like the grade to express themselves and have fun, but unfortunately they will not be able to decorate the classrooms and turn the school upside down. The Sabre Awards may need to take on an online format. The valedictory will go ahead and will in most likelihood take the same format as it did last year. The valedictory breakfast for parents and the picnic the day before will all be dependent on the COVID levels and restriction levels at the time, and we will keep you posted about these. The matric dance is scheduled for the 27th of November. The venue is booked. The planning and organizing of this event is in full steam, and we will send communication regarding this very, very soon. The cocktail function, which was traditionally held before the dance at school, is in most likelihood not going to take place. But again, all of these are dependent on the COVID levels at the time.